Good evening. We'll call to order this meeting of the City Council of the City of Gahanna for Monday, July 7th, 2025. If you would please join me to stand for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, led by Vice President Trenton Weaver.
Thank you. As we gather, we are reminded of opportunities to render our service to our fellow residents, keeping in mind always the enduring values of community, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us strive together to make a better world and community for all. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Bowers.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
McGregor.
Here.
Padova.
Here.
Renner.
Here.
Schnetzer. Here. Weaver.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Section B on this evening's agenda, additions or corrections to the agenda. There is one correction, just to provide some additional information, to move ordinance 0027-2025 off of the consent agenda and onto the regular agenda to be placed in section F. We will take that item first. Are there any other additions or corrections to the agenda this evening? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to hearing of visitors. We have several speaker slips this evening. Each speaker has 3 minutes to provide their remarks. When your name is called, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record, and then please go ahead with your comments. I'm taking the speaker, announcing the speaker slips in the order in which they were received, and we'll start with Patricia Kovacs.
Good evening. I'm Patricia Kovacs. I live at 527 Haversham Drive. I'll be quick. I just want to thank you for the appreciating the Disability Pride Month, our proclamation. Thanks for some of the things that we've done, like updating our transition plan in 22, including disability accommodation in our transportation and mobility plan. And I feel like we set the precedent for other cities in Central Ohio with our accommodations. And the only thing I'm asking is it'd be nice to see, and maybe it's there, an update of what we've accomplished from the transition plan. So thanks, everybody, with the city and council.
Thank you. Our next speaker slip this evening is from Craig Clausen.
Good evening, Council. Mayor. My name is Craig Clausen. I'm a resident at 566 Danoon Drive, and I'm here to urge you to please reconsider the speed in which we are moving towards this tax abatement with Velocis. This deal would cost Gahanna taxpayers approximately $310,000 per year in foregone revenue. That's $3.7 million over the deal's lifetime, and that's a significant public investment. And it should not be approved without careful scrutiny. Yet we're being told that the rush to process this under emergency powers is because the developer has a signing deadline. That is not a public emergency, that is a private one, and it shouldn't dictate the pace of our public policy. To make matters worse, Velocis is currently involved in litigation in Bee Cave, Texas, for allegedly violating a previous development agreement. That's a history that demands caution, not urgency. Gahanna's residents deserve a full accounting of this developer's track record, not just a promise on paper. We're being told that 37 full-time jobs at an average salary of $55,000 will be recouped with this project, but no independent analysis has been done to assess the potential infrastructure costs this development may impose on our roads, utilities, or emergency services. It's impossible to judge the real return on investment without those numbers. Gahanna has a history of offering generous abatements, but I feel like our culture has changed. The memory of Creekside still looms large for all of us, an ambitious project that was promised a thriving city hub, now left with vacant storefronts and overpriced condos. That experience has taught our community the cost of blind optimism. We cannot afford another misstep, not with municipal revenue under pressure from state and local sources. I respectfully urge this council to hit pause, demand a full due diligence review, and prioritize the long-term interests of Gahanna residents over the convenience of venture capitalists. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Clausen. Joe Harrington?
I guess that's working. Hi, I'm Dr. Joseph Harrington. The doctor is psychology. I'm a retired mental health counselor. I live on 443 Sandbird Drive, and I've been living there for 4 years. I come tonight with 2 issues that I've taken to a number of people, and tonight I bring it to City Council. One of them has to do with crossing the street on Stigler. If you know where Sandbur and Ridenauer are, and they cross Stigler, there's no markings there. There's no flashing yellow. There's no crosswalk. There's no anything. And there's a lot of foot traffic that goes across there because of the park, Woodside Green. And I just find it dangerous. Fast cars coming up from Morse up around the bend. It's invisible when you come around there. And I would just like for folks to look at that and think about some way to mark that area so the cars at least have some idea that there's people crossing the street. I cross it every day, cross Stigler to go to the park, and I know how fast the cars come around there, and seen parents pushing buggies, kids with bikes. So anyway, that's one of my issues. The other one has to do with the park itself and the spraying on the grass there. I don't understand what they're spraying for. I guess to get rid of the dandelions and the clover, I can't tell. But anyway, they're spraying, and I think there's a lot of issues about the stuff that's being sprayed and the companies that are spraying it. So I'm hoping that folks will take a look at that. The little flags are all over the park, so they're not just spraying the ball field, they're spraying all around. I don't know why you'd spray the ball field. It doesn't seem like it couldn't just be regular grass. I'm not sure why it has to be some kind of monoculture grass. But there's a lot of evidence, a lot of research. I didn't bring it with me, and I only got 45 more seconds. So, but I think there's a lot of evidence that some of the stuff that's being sprayed is, by some sources, considered carcinogenic, certainly by the World Health Organization. So that's another issue that I've talked to a number of people about, and again, I wanted to present it to you tonight. And finally, I'd just say that we moved to Gahanna 4 years ago, and we really like it, really appreciate the green space, really appreciate the enthusiasm that people have about living here, and really appreciate the diversity. I come from a very rural area, so I really enjoy the diversity here. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Harrington. Brigitte Christman?
Thank you for saying my name right, whoever said that. I appreciate that. Good evening, Gahanna City Council, Mayor, community leaders. My name is Brigitte Christman. I live at 7016 Winfield. I am the proud parent, past and present, of Gahanna students. I also come from a family of U.S. veterans. So yes, I can cheer from the bleachers and fold a flag at the same time. Tonight, I am proposing a seasonal banner initiative that honors two of Gahanna's finest groups, our students and our military, by featuring them on city signposts throughout Gahanna. I thought my husband would clap for that, but that's all right. The idea is simple, but powerful. Let us use our streets to show off our spirit. Our students represent discipline, determination, and school pride. And anyone that's ever had a student that you had to get up at 6 a.m. for a workout or to catch that bus knows that there's commitment involved as well. Public recognition during their season, especially with banners along North Hamilton and Granville Street, can boost morale, connect our schools more visibly to the community. Even if the banners don't include personal photos, they can highlight the school colors, lion logos, and even help showcase our beautiful new school building. It's like a free marketing campaign without the TikTok dance. But if you want that, I'm ready. At the same time, we have a meaningful opportunity to honor our men and women who've served our country. Veterans banners with names and service branches or photos can help us say thank you in a way that's seen every day, not just on Veterans Day. And it reminds our youth that our heroes might live right next door. Some neighboring cities already do this. I think it brings the neighborhoods together. It can spark enthusiasm and spark communication throughout the diverse generations. And if my son just so happens to look up from his phone while we're driving down the street and say, "Who was that on the banner?" I can say, "That's your grandpa when he had black hair." So I respectfully ask the city to explore the possibility of launching this pilot program with Gahanna Jefferson Schools, local veterans groups, community families. Let's build something together that reflects Gahanna's values, commitment to the community and education service, and people who make this city more than just a place to live, but a home. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening and continuing to make the city of Gahanna worth cheering for from the stands and the fields, on and off. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chrisman. The last speaker slip I have this evening is from John Handler.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Jadwin. My name is John Handler. I live at 1105 Arcaro Drive, 43230. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. This topic is something that is extremely important to my family and me. My wife and I are third-generation American Jews. My objective tonight is to figure out a way to honor this for all local Jewish people who live in Gahanna. It is also a good opportunity for people who are interested in learning more. With the current state of Judaism where it is in Israel and the increase in anti-Semitism, I found it inspiring when New Albany City Council made a resolution to make the month of May Jewish American Heritage Month. Last time I was here to speak, Council wanted to honor a group that was actively promoting anti-Israel and Jewish propaganda on their social media accounts. This was extremely scary and upsetting for my family and the community. My goal is to make sure that Gahanna Jewish families feel fully supported by their local leaders. I have been trying to request a meeting with Council President Bowers and my 4th Ward Rep, Councilman Weaver. While I appreciate that Councilwoman Bowers has responded, I am completely dumbfounded that my rep, Councilman Weaver, sent one response acknowledging my email in late May by just saying, "Have a good weekend." Since then, he has not responded to me one time or agreed to make time to sit down and have a conversation that I requested. I come here tonight to finally have an opportunity to speak to you face to face and see what we can do to make this happen. Again, my goal here is to find a way to make sure our local Jewish community feels safe and supported. Councilman Weaver, your silence speaks volumes. Lastly, my correspondence to Council started May 21st, 2025. I included all members, Mayor Jadwin, and even my rabbi, Benji Barlev, at Temple Beth Shalom in New Albany. I figured he would be a good source of information if needed, as we were so moved when Superintendent Deagle in Gahanna reached out to him after the atrocities of October 7th to see what she could do to make sure Jewish students felt safe and supported at Gahanna schools. I do want to acknowledge and repeat that I appreciate Councilwoman Bowers and her willingness to engage at least via email. However, I am still confused as to where we stand. At first, it was an unwillingness to bring my request to Council for discussion. Apparently, even though New Albany was able to make this resolution, Councilwoman Bowers said she was given advice directly from both legal department and Department of Public Safety of the city regarding the dangers of issuing religious-based resolutions. Can I request a little bit more?
We have adhered to a strict 3-minute policy for all of our speakers. If you'd like to submit written comments, you're welcome to submit written comments.
I can't request any more time.
Unfortunately, throughout the last 2 years, we've adhered to a strict 3-minute policy to all speakers. Mr. Handler.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for your comments this evening. Are there any additional speaker slips this evening?
None.
All right. All right, we are moving on to the consent agenda section of this evening's agenda. Mr. Van Meter, would you please read the ordinances identified under Section 2 of the consent agenda, except for 0027?
Ordinance 0026-2025, an ordinance authorizing supplemental appropriations for fiscal year 2025, various funds for retirement expense purposes and real estate settlement fees. Ordinance 0028-2025, an ordinance authorizing supplemental appropriations for grant funding awarded by the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, ODNR, and to authorize the transfer of matching funds for the Boat Safety Grant Program. Ordinance 0029-2025, an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a professional services agreement with Kleinfelder Engineering, LLC, for design and engineering services for the Woodside Green and Hannah Park Pond improvement projects.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. With that, is there a first to approve the consent agenda as published, accepting that ordinance 0027-2025 has been removed from consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer.
Second.
A second by Mr. Renner. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes. Motion carries and the consent agenda is adopted as described. Section E, resolutions. We do have one resolution on this evening's agenda. This did not come forward to committee, which is why it is not on the consent agenda. A joint resolution and proclamation honoring Disability Pride Month and recognizing the 35th anniversary of the enactment of the Americans with Disabilities Act. I wanted to see if there were any questions or discussion, and also identify if Mayor Jadwin was satisfied with the language.
I am, thank you. I have no changes.
Thank you, Mayor Jadwin. All right, is there a first to adopt the resolution as it is printed?
So moved, Madam President.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a first by Weaver and a second by Jones. Any further discussion this evening? All right, hearing none. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Weaver?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes. Motion carries, and the joint resolution proclamation honoring Disability Pride Month and the 35th anniversary of the ADA is adopted as published. Section F of this evening's agenda, ordinances for second reading and adoption. Mr. Van Meter, let's just start with ordinance 27 this evening. Would you please read ordinance 0027-2025 into the record?
Ordinance 0027-2025, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an access easement agreement with Centerpoint Church for the use of parking lot located at 670 McCutcheon Road, and authorizing a supplemental appropriation from the Capital Improvement Fund 3250.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. Is there a first to adopt ordinance 0027-2025?
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer,
Second.
second by Mr. Renner. And for discussion, Mr. Schnetzer.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. So since our last review of this item together, I had some inquiry from residents that precipitated a conversation with the administration. Part of that back and forth with the administration was a table that I believe I had forwarded to all of you for how they came up with the estimate. I don't want to do a disservice to the estimate, so I'll ask if the administration would mind just maybe kind of framing those estimates kind of on the low end and on the high end, kind of how we arrived at the figure that's in front of us on this matter.
Thank you. Again, with the Sun Point playground, I'm sorry, the Sun Point Park in general, there's a lot of parking overflow that occurred. The existing parking lot has 34 spaces. There is a property that is directly adjacent, that is the access agreement that is in front of you for this evening, that has an additional 120 parking spaces. In order to accommodate that on the Sun Point Park property, we would have to take a significant amount of the green space away from that park, which would be a disservice to the west side and in general the park. We lack the open green space for any type of rectangular field. So we did a calculation to determine if we were to build a parking lot a similar size of what is adjacent to us, what that would come to. And these numbers are from a 2023 estimate. These conversations have occurred over multiple years with the landowner that is adjacent to us, to the city park. So these figures, again, are from 2023. So a complete build of a parking space, again, similar to the size of the access agreement, would be upwards of $800,000 for a full rebuild, or for a full build. For an overlay, which would be just to get you a surface, would be upwards of $300,000. And then crack sealing is $40,000, and that is something that you could potentially see annually. It just really depends on the type of surface that you're dealing with. So that is ultimately the numbers of what we would be dealing with if the city would to incorporate the asset into the system.
Thank you, Director. So in short, we have access to 120 parking spaces for $300,000, less than it would cost to build it. We preserve the green space and which allows for the programming of the park. And those numbers are now 2 years old, and we know where construction inflation has been over
That
that
is
period of
correct.
time. Thank you so much.
And just to clarify, that's $300,000, I mean, I know what it says in here, but $300,000 once, broken up into 2 payments.
Correct.
Yeah, okay,
Correct.
thank you. All right. Yes, Mr. Renner.
Thank you. And Director, I think maybe you said this and I just didn't hear it, but I just want to emphasize that the property owner shall remain responsible for the maintenance of the parking facility, correct?
That is correct.
So the city doesn't have to do any of the crack sealing or any of their parking maintenance that would be required.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on this item?
No.
All right. Thank you very much, Director Farrell. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Renner,
Yes.
Padova,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
McGregor.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance 0027-2025 is adopted. Next item on this evening's agenda is Ordinance 0030-2025. First, let's have Mr. Van Meter read it for its second reading.
Ordinance 0030-2025, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a community reinvestment area agreement with Velocis Gahanna JV LP to facilitate the construction of an industrial building on parcels 027-000-110-00 and 025-13634-00 on Tech Center Drive, part of Community Reinvestment Area Number 3, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. By order of process, we'll take a first and a second on the ordinance as it's published, and then address the recommended amendment to remove the emergency declaration. Is there a first to adopt ordinance 0030-2025 as published? I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer.
Second.
A second by Mr. Renner. And for discussion, as I mentioned, I'd like to entertain a motion to amend ordinance 0030-2025 to remove the emergency declaration. Is there a first on the amendment?
Madam President?
Yes.
Due to some information we received, I mean, I didn't even see it till 3:30 or 4 o'clock today via email. I would like to ask that this return to committee of the whole for further discussion.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. McGregor, excuse me. Is there, so that you're making a first to?
Oh, is that, do I need to make a motion? Okay.
It would be a first to table the ordinance for
Okay.
vote.
I will make,
And return it to committee.
okay, I would like to table the vote and return it to committee.
All right, is there a second on the motion? Okay. Any discussion on this item? On the, excuse me, on the motion to table? All right. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Are we, as the applicant, able to object?
Could I ask for clarification on the motion to table?
Yes.
So is it a motion to postpone to a date certain, or a
I-
motion to?
Is
I
it
was just asking for it to come back to committee meeting, the next committee meeting, not to postpone date certain. Well, I don't know how.
Okay, so to table indefinitely and return to committee for further discussion?
I guess, is that?
The difference would be postponed to date certain means it would come back, right? We would have this reading again on a certain date, or we can simply say, we'll take as many committee meetings as it takes in order to feel comfortable with this and then ultimately put it on the agenda. I think what's being proposed is to table indefinitely and then bring it back. And I'll just say I'm comfortable with that.
I'm comfortable with that as well.
Table indefinitely with no set date as to when it would come back for a vote?
I believe that's what's being proposed right this second, yeah.
I seconded it. And I don't want to put any words in your mouth, so I guess maybe I yield.
I'm
to-
okay with tabling it for just until the next council meeting. And we have a we don't have a committee meeting in between.
Our next committee of the whole would be the 21st. It would be committee of the whole on the 21st, and then if you're asking for it to be with a date certain, as Councilman Schnetzer explained, it would be coming for committee of the whole on the 21st and then vote at the next committee, regular meeting, which would be, I believe, the 4th of August.
4th of August.
Madam President, would you entertain the ability for us to address what was raised today? We got notice of this about 5 hours ago ourselves, and we were prepared tonight to speak to the issue at hand. We've been pretty clear all along that the timeliness of the vote has been very important.
Mr. Underhill, I apologize. There is no hearing of visitors at this moment in time. I think what's being discussed by council is to offer you an additional opportunity to address some of the concerns at a future committee meeting. So I guess I just want to make sure. So there is an option. So there's a motion to I guess we're looking to clarify the motion that was made. A motion to either table indefinitely, return this to committee without a date certain for a vote, or have this discussed at the committee meeting on the 21st with it to come back for a second reading on the 4th of August. And Mr. Schnetzer.
Madam President, I guess it's a distinction with a very minor difference in the sense that in that committee meeting chaired by Mr. Weaver, I'm assuming he's going to look over to Mr. Van Meter and say, what do we want to do here? It's coming back, or I'm sorry, it's going to go on the regular agenda, or it's going to go back to committee. So
Okay.
if you want maximum flexibility, I think the indefinite route is the appropriate path. If you want it to vote the next time we can have a vote, then postponing to date certain is what you
Okay.
want to do.
Indefinitely.
No one first did the motion to amend. Yeah. Okay, so I think that what's been clarified between Mrs. McGregor and Mr. Schnetzer is a motion to postpone indefinitely and return this item to committee on the 21st. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And thank you. Can I ask for clarification purposes? If it comes to committee on the 21st, council has the ability to set it for the regular council meeting on the 4th?
Okay. Okay, so there's a motion and a first made by Mrs. McGregor and a second by Mr. Renner. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
McGregor?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Motion carries, and this item is tabled to Committee of the Whole for further discussion on the 21st.
If I may make a request, I know there's been reference to additional information that was received today. Will that be made part of the record as well? So, because we've had public comment reflecting the subject of what that email was, and I know I sent an email response, I would request that that be made part of the record as well.
Absolutely. We can certainly make, and yes, Mayor Jadwin, there's no further discussion because the vote has been adopted, so we're not going to further discuss it this evening, but we will discuss it in full on the 21st. Mr. Van Meter, there's been a request to enter into the record the memorandum and both emails that were circulated today. Okay. With that, we'll move on to correspondence and actions, section G of this evening's agenda. Mr. Van Meter, do you have any items?
Nothing this evening.
And from my council colleagues, are there any items this evening? No, ma'am. All right. Move on to section H, representatives. Community Improvement Corporation, Mr. Renner and Mrs. Padova.
Yes. Our last CIC meeting was on June 17th at 8 a.m. The mayor gave us some updates that were mostly covered in our council meeting on June 16th, the evening before, including the strategic plan update, mental health events, 825 updates, and discussions of HB 335. We had discussion on possibly switching or looking into switching from a 501c4 to C3, and then we went into executive session. Our next CIC meeting will be, I believe, actually next Tuesday, July 15th.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Padova. Mr. Renner, anything to add, or is that covered?
No, thank you. I was not in attendance at that meeting because I had a procedure the week before.
Great. Yes, thank you, and we're glad to see you're recovering. Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, Mr. Weaver.
Thank you, Madam President. I will refer my colleagues to the attached MORPC report that was included with the agenda. There is no MORPC Commission meeting this month, but the Commission will meet again on August 14th.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weaver. Excuse me, got away from my agenda. There it is. Convention and Visitors Bureau, back to Councilwoman Padova.
Thank you. We are still working on getting everything all figured out from CBJF, but we should have a better clear financial picture in late August, early September. So I'm sure that we'll have Director Kappas come in and report back to us on that. But also in June, we led a safe space initiative with the Gahanna Pride Network, which was rolled out at Pride Night last month. And they have business decals available for any businesses who want to put them on their doors or windows, just to recognize that their business is a safe space, welcome to everyone into their establishment. So any local businesses who have not gotten one of those yet, you can reach out to Visit Gahanna for that. Coming up, Visit Gahanna will be providing the music during the Gahanna Market on July 23rd. And we're also partnering with Make Gahanna Yours to host the Pelotonia Spirit Station on the morning of August 2nd. So stay tuned for more details about that. And that's all for me.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Padova. School Board, Councilwoman Jones.
Yeah, so just a couple of announcements and reminders. So the GRIN Summer Lunch Program is still happening or going full swing all summer. So a reminder to the community that Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 at Royal Manor and Goshen Lane Elementary, that lunch is a grab and go for those in the community that need it. Also wanted to update the community and colleagues. We, as many know, that the state budget was passed last week with vetoes from Governor DeWine. We have had a discussion here regarding the 40% cap on carryover for school districts, which was vetoed by Governor DeWine. So wanted to share that update. And thank you for the community and those who advocated for that. There are a number of different vetoes impacting education, so encourage folks to take a look at those as well. Last is the regular Board of Education meeting is this Thursday, July 9th, followed by a Finance and Facilities Committee meeting on July 15th next week. That is all for me.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jones. Section I of this evening's agenda, official reports. Mayor Jadwin.
Thank you. Initially, I'd like to extend my deepest gratitude to the Department of Parks and Recreation, Division of Police, and Department of Public Service for their outstanding work over the last few days during our 4th of July events. From ensuring the safety of our residents to preparing our parks for the fireworks, managing all of the logistics behind the scenes. Their professionalism, teamwork, and dedication were evident in every detail of July 3rd and July 4th. Thanks to their collective efforts, our community was able to enjoy the events in a safe environment, celebrate together as a community. Throughout the weekend, even afterward, I received multiple reach outs from residents, even at the grocery store, telling me how much they appreciated the fireworks and the events of the parade, and special thanks as well to our Gahanna Lions Club. It was miserably hot. And to all those folks who walked in the parade and had floats in the parade, thank you for participating. And to the attendees who lined the streets, just seeing their smiles and their faces as we walked along just really adds to the community spirit and why we love calling Gahanna home. I appreciate the hard work of our team members, not just on holidays like this, but on every day. And they truly exemplify the meaning of public service, especially on those holiday weekends. So thank you to all of you for making Gahanna such a special community. Our Division of Police earlier today received word that the division passed the online assessment for advanced certification as part of their CALIA accreditation process. This online process involved a review of 463 assessment standards. That's a lot. We're talking thousands and thousands of paperwork. It represented 3 years of work by our CALIA coordinator, Stacy, and Deputy Chief Lawless in developing policies, audits, source documents, and compliance measurements. The next step in that process will be an on-site visit that's scheduled for August 18th, when they will basically come and do what they did online, but do it in person, verify everything that they looked at online. But this hurdle of the online assessment really is the hardest part of the process, besides all of the work that went into developing all of those protocols and procedures. So hopefully August 18th, we come, they have a great visit, and we can celebrate our official accreditation later this year. So great work to our team at the Division of Police. They also are rolling out the Handle with Care program. Our school resource officer, Crystal Jones, as Sergeant Kaylee Pertz, have been meeting with administrators from Gahanna Jefferson Public Schools, as well as the many private schools that are located here in the city. If you're not familiar with the Handle with Care program, our police officers, when they respond to a call when there is a child who has experienced a traumatic event, will alert the school district and the administrators, and then they know that that child, when they come into the classroom, may be particularly sensitive to stressors and to truly handle them with care. It is a phenomenal program, and commend Officer Jones and Sergeant Pertz for their work in organizing that program and getting it off and running. So I expect to have great feedback and impact within the community thanks to their work as well. And then we also have a new officer who joined us today, Bryson Williams. He's a lateral hire from the Las Vegas Police Department. He arrived today and was getting a tour of City Hall and the police headquarters, which didn't take that very long. But we will be swearing him in at an upcoming council meeting as well. Also excited to share that the Human Resources team has been recognized by the National Public Employer Labor Relations Association. That's the National PELRA organization with the Pacesetter Award. Senior Director Vollmer and HR Manager Ben Nolan were out in Portland last week to accept that award on behalf of the team. And the Pacesetter Award honors individuals and organizations that demonstrate forward-thinking leadership and innovation in public sector labor relations. And their work truly, I think that award truly underlines and reflects the fantastic work they have been doing within our internal team to foster a positive workplace culture, implementing policies that are reflective of modern day operations, and really developing employee-focused programs. It's why our retention rate has significantly, I guess it's risen. I was going to say dropped, but that's the turnover rate has dropped. The retention rate has risen. Just the camaraderie that you see now between departments and amongst team members is vastly different than it was just a few years ago, and that is in large part due to the work of Miranda and her team. So kudos to them on that well-earned achievement. Coming up, the next edition of Uniquely Gahanna has gone to print, so keep an eye on your mailboxes in the next 1 to 2 weeks, depending on the Postal Service, for your latest edition, highlighting project updates, resident stories. There's an article on the upcoming alumni musical, as well as business spotlights and upcoming events. And then finally, July 12th, coming up, the Gahanna Historical Society will be hosting Pioneer Day. I don't know, Councilwoman McGregor, if you'll be speaking to that a little bit more, I'll leave that up to you to talk a little further on that. I just want to add, I appreciate Council's decision to reschedule, for lack of a better word, or to continue a conversation on the project that was before you tonight for vote. I do believe that it's important that we maintain transparency and conversations and communications that happen behind the scenes that lead to a decision like that, because we really leave the public hanging when we don't let them know what's going on. So hopefully we can have a fully vetted conversation on July 21 and move this forward for a vote one way or the other. The company needs an answer, the property owner needs an answer, but it also needs to send a positive message to the development community about how we do business here. And when we do things like we did tonight, that impacts and has ripple effects through the development community and the business community, because I hear about it and Director Gaki hears about it. So I would just ask that we all be cognizant of the fact that things that we do and say in this room and the way we approach projects do have longer standing implications than they do from the time this meeting begins and ends. So I look forward to the conversation on July 21. I'm sure the company, if they're able to attend, will look forward to having comments and having the opportunity to respond to some questions that have been raised. But if you have any questions in the meantime, that's what Director Gaki and I are both here for. We're happy to answer questions and provide you with additional information to make sure that you are making the best informed decision that you can. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Jadwin. City Attorney Tam Larison.
Nothing to report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to Section J, Council comment. We'll start with Councilwoman McGregor.
Thank you. As the mayor alluded to, we have Gahanna Pioneer Day on the 12th, July 12th, from 10 to 2. It's at the Historic Settlement. We have animals coming. We have old-time pioneer-type activities. One of the most popular last year was we found a ringer washer, and Ms. Kovacs oversaw that, and it was a ringer washer, and the kids could like suds up a cloth and then put it through the ringer and wring it out and then hang it up on the clothesline, and there was a line all day long for kids to do that. So you never know what's going to be popular, but we have like, they can make a rag doll and some different crafts, and so I hope to see people down from 10 to 2 on the 12th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. McGregor. Councilwoman Jones.
Just pointing out tonight that my May-June constituent report has been attached to the agenda for colleagues and the community. But that's all this evening.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Padova.
Thank you. I just want to echo the mayor's comments and gratitude towards the Gahanna Police Department, Parks and Recreation Department, and everybody who was involved in all of the festivities last week with the fireworks parade, also the Gahanna Lions Club. It is always very warm, and there's a lot of people running around doing a lot of hard work, sweating through their shirts, and the community really appreciates and enjoys it. I had friends in from out of town, and they were raving about the fireworks at the golf course on Thursday, forgetting what day it is. So just appreciate all of the hard work that goes into that. It does not go unnoticed. My days are a little off because we had some vacations and spent the weekend out of town. And today I was very happy to get back to Gahanna and so happy to have a place that I'm happy to come home to. So thank you all for being part of this community. That's all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Padova. Councilman Renner?
Yeah, I'll try to be quick. Congratulations to our HR department for getting that award, and definitely congratulations to our police department for getting that online accreditation. Mayor, if you could, can you elaborate a little bit, or maybe one sentence, what is CALIA and why is it so important?
Sure, I would actually love to do that, but I think Chief Spence would love that even more, because that has been his baby project and one of his goals, and I want to give him the opportunity to talk about it, because it has been such an achievement for him and for his entire team.
One sentence, basically.
You can't do it in one.
Yeah, I can't do it in one sentence, but what I will say is, it's an international standard. 11% of law enforcement agencies in the United States have accreditation. When I came in 2018, we started making a lot of policy improvements and audits and all those types of things, and I realized we were about 90% there, and the hard work took 3 years to get us to where we are. But I'm hoping in November we'll be in Jacksonville accepting that final stamp of approval and proof that what we say we do, we do.
So it's an international standard then?
That is correct, yes. It's not just the United States, but several other countries as well.
Okay, very good, and congratulations again. I definitely enjoyed the fireworks, and so my hat's off to everybody who put that together. And then the parade was amazing time. Councilman Snetzer and I held up the council representatives, and we just had an amazing time going through all the crowds. It really felt homey for the first time in a long time. Changing gears a little bit, over the weekend, I'm sure everybody has been glued to the news about what's happening in Central Texas and the flash floods, the amazing amount of rains and the flash floods. And my heart goes out to everybody and the victims, the families of the victims, most especially. But this is why we do resilience planning. This is why we have to take a pause and actually understand what are our contingencies. There are massive failures that happen down there. And yes, the weather, besides the political spectrum, NOAA did do its job and did alert the proper authorities. The problem is communications in some areas down in Central Texas are dismal. And that's in the 21st century. We are 25 years into the 21st century. This should not happen. But it did. But this is why I just wanted to really drill home the fact that this is why we do resilience planning, so that we make sure that our community is safe and sound, and that we actually examine that every aspect of communications, and that every person in our neighborhoods and every citizen of Gahanna is contacted and knows what to do, whether it's rain and floods or whether it's the next heat wave, which is coming. or what other natural disaster. So I'll just stop there, but thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Renner. Mr. Schnetzer?
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, I'll sound a little bit redundant, but I do want to thank everyone that had something to do with the fireworks. I walked down from my house down to Stony Brook and watched from there. It was a pretty good view, not as good as the golf course, but it was a shorter walk. And then in talking with some neighbors and some colleagues, I had heard that some had uttered the phrase perhaps best ever that they had seen in the city of Gahanna. So the bar just keeps getting raised with every subsequent Independence Day holiday. Likewise, I thought the 4th of July parade was awesome. Had a great time. It seemed like lots of smiles everywhere. Of course, the patriotic red, white, and blue, and it just felt, I agree with you, Mr. Renner, it felt, like a small town, like a community, and everyone, essentially on the same team. And that's something I think is long overdue, maybe, in society these days. So it was nice to see everybody come together in celebration of independence and freedom. And then lastly, I do want to thank Director Farrell and Mr. Gil Houston, and I suppose the Parks and Rec Foundation, as well as our partners with the American Red Cross. I just learned of an opportunity through the local football league to participate in first aid, CPR, and AED trainings, which I'm enthusiastic, and I'm going to jump 2 feet just directly into that opportunity. I'll just say I think it's an invaluable community benefit. Every year I've got to get USA Football certified in order to coach for the Gahanna Lions Youth Football League. We cover everything from concussion protocols to identifying cardiac arrest to heat stroke, and it seems like CPR is the missing link. And not only do I think all coaches should have it, but I think as a parent of 2 athletes that play a multitude of sports, it gives me peace of mind knowing that this type of training is being offered out there. So thank you so much to your role in this. And like I said, I'll be at the front of the line on that one. That's all for me.
Thank you, Mr. Schnetzer. Mr. Weaver?
Thank you, Madam President. And not even at the risk of sounding redundant, I know I'm going to sound redundant as I echo the thanks of my colleagues to everyone who made the 4th a successful, happy, fun, and safe holiday as we celebrated our independence. So thanks to the Division of Police, Parks, Public Service, Lions Club, all of the volunteers across the community, our friends at Mifflin Township. Thank you very much for all of your help in making sure that the weekend went off well. Hot, but went very well. Also, thanks to everybody who helped make the city's Pride Month celebration very fun and enjoyable as well. I will echo my colleagues' congratulations to the Division of Police as well as our HR team for their successes. I'm always impressed by our amazing staff that we have here at the city in continuing to be a leader in the region and in the state. So thank you all for your efforts and congratulations. In light of some comments that were made this evening, I'll just say that I'm always happy to work with any residents, and I certainly don't like to duplicate efforts that are asked and answered by my colleagues or by council clerk. There was much research that went into responses that were provided, and so I'll just say that I can appreciate and respect anybody for how deeply they value their faith. I was raised Baptist, but I don't believe in elevating one faith over any other particular faith. This body has not, at least according to the clerk's research, recognized one particular faith over another. And I will not be the first one to attempt to do that as well. So saying that the city has not previously adopted a resolution to celebrate a religion or a faith group, I believe it's important that we don't recognize one particular faith group over another. And that I'll just add that our city's structure differs from that of other communities, including that of New Albany. We are a legislative body. We follow legislative procedures rather than administrative procedures. I'll just say I'm one of 7 members. Every resident in our community has a ward representative and 3 at-large representatives. There's also an elected city attorney and an elected mayor. So I will not be bringing forth a resolution to recognize one particular faith over another, but I certainly can respect how deeply someone holds their faith. And that's all I'll say about that. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. So, as council president, anyone in this role, I think, is tasked with a difficult job of being able to maintain a steady process and an even process that is equally administered. And I know that sometimes it is comes across perhaps as strident to follow Robert's Rules of Order and to stick to 3-minute limitations. But this is the way that we can make sure that we do have an equal and fair process here at council. The other piece of this too, of course, and thank you to Mayor Jadwin for her recognition of the need to engage in further discussion with regard to the application for the abatement. I fully agree, and I think that there are some additional concerns that we don't have enough information about yet that can be more fully developed if we have additional time. And the lack of discussion tonight is not to withhold information. It is to have further discussion and a further transparent and comprehensive review of all the factors before council makes a decision. So what I learned last week, right before the holiday, was that there is a lawsuit that's been filed against Velocys and KCB advisors, and I don't know the full extent of it. I don't know the details of it. I've had the opportunity to review a couple of the pleadings, and I've skimmed the docket, but we need more information on this, and I look forward to having further conversation on this topic in committee meeting, and I think that it's important that we have a full understanding of the proposal and of the potential, some of the potential issues that could come with a contract of this nature. Again, I will thank all of the members of the public who came forward and voiced their opinions this evening. This is exactly the place for you to do that during hearing of visitors, and so we very much appreciate your comments and the concerns that you raised. They will be addressed, I am certain, by various members of the administration, as some of these items were operational in nature. Dr. Harrington's questions with regard to pesticide spray, I'm sure will be followed up from Parks and Rec Department. And I would anticipate that the request for the banners would also be addressed by the administration. So thank you so much for weighing in this evening. With that, if there's nothing further, I believe we'll adjourn this evening. Thank you. Thank you.